in conversation with Tom Abbott. So nice to have you visit the center.
It's a pleasure.
He's a sales guru, and he, helps companies transform the very culture, the sales culture on which everything depends. The lifeblood of every organization is sales. So can you tell us a little bit about how this whole transformation occurs through your work in organizations?
Sure, thank you. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Awesome to be here, and this is a good conversation. So my company is called SOCO Sales Training.
Right.
And SOCO is the sales optimization company.
Okay.
So I work with hundreds of companies around Asia, Middle East, the Gulf region, and help them optimize their sales process.
Right.
How to get clarity around what are some best practices that they should be adopting, and helping those companies consistently adopt desired selling behaviors.
In your experience, when I look at this statistic that 95% of businesses hit a growth plateau in any given 5 years, and whilst 5% succeed to scale up, and this always amazes me. They're such intelligent business owners and put in years and years of their life, blood, sweat, tears in their business,
right.
But they keep hitting that kind of a growth plateau.
Yes.
A percentage of them even go under. So in your experience, what do you attribute this dismal success rate to?
Well, there's a few factors, but I'll zero in on one.
Sure.
I know something that you mentioned was intelligent people.
Right.
So a lot of people know what to do.
Right.
They just don't do what they know.
Wow.
Okay. So that's a very big distinction.
Right.
So one of the things we help companies do is to start doing more of what works, do more of what they know they should be doing.
Right.
So one of the things I've noticed, and you've probably heard this term, is the founder's dilemma.
Right.
You know, that
Right.
type of thing,
Yeah.
right? Where they take the company as far as they can take it.
Right.
The business is around them.
Yes.
Maybe they're good at sales. Maybe they're good at business development, but they don't know how to scale up, not just scale up operations or scale up production or scale up fulfillment, but scale up the sales process.
Right.
How do they replicate themselves? That's one of the big challenges that entrepreneurs face.
Right. And that kind of gets them into, so the more they grow, they reach a certain level, and then after that, they run out of steam.
They run out of steam because it's about them as a person,
Right.
not a process.
Yes.
So they need to come up with a sales system, a sales process. I've also seen a lot of companies where perhaps the small company was acquired by a bigger one.
Right.
But then they have to keep that founder in there for a certain length of time.
Right.
Because the business was built on the relationships that person had.
Right. Right.
Which
right.
means it's really not a scalable business
Right.
yet.
So, in this 12-month program that we run, it's called the CEO's Business Growth Program. We work with business owners to help them get their tacit knowledge and to codify that, and then be able to groom people.
Yes.
And that's kind of a succession process starts up.
Yeah.
And that's when the scaling up begins to happen.
Yes.
So I think that's pretty much what you're...
It's very consistent with what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You need to have, kind of take the people out of it.
Right.
Right? Respectfully, take the people out of it and look at the process.
Right.
What did those people do?
Right.
What works?
Right.
And I'm a big believer in you've got to do more of what works.
What works. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But we can't do more of that if we haven't tracked it first.
Absolutely.
If we don't know what is working, what are some of the KPIs?
Yeah.
What are the benchmarks that we use?
Right.
How do we know that we're doing a good job?
Right. Right. So thank you so much. I mean, that was absolutely insightful and brilliant. Thanks, Tom.
It's my pleasure.